imaging camera in a ghost hunt?
Because they're cold.
Right. Good job. Kudos to you. See, you did watch the TV shows. So I usually have to pull teeth to get that answer. We're looking for literal cold spots with this.
Okay.
So this is not a phone app you guys can go home and download, just so you know. It's just attached to a phone because this is what they basically sell to firemen to go help save people. It's a quick attachment for their own cell phone, and they can go into a burning building and go find who's in there. Okay. We use it because it is super accurate, and when we capture something with this, it is a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
So I will say that. Now, with that, you should be able to see me, right? Red, orange, and yellow. So I normally make the joke, and it'll probably still work here, that I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. Yep, still works. Wife hates that joke. But I make that point because we're looking for blue and black. Those are going to be the coldest spots in the frame. So when I say I want blue and black, I'm looking for them to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want them head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what I'm looking for. So I will say we get about 4 to 5 pieces per year on this camera where I will put my stamp of approval that was definitely paranormal. This is not 12 an episode kind of thing. Yeah. This is not TV. So I'm showing you how this literally goes down for a real paranormal investigator and not a TV show host. So the other thing I have on here to kind of help us out is a blue dot. The blue dot is bouncing around the screen, showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. It is about 62 degrees out here for us ambient, maybe 64. I usually look for 15 plus degree temperature drops. So I'm going to be looking for about 50 to 52 degrees and anything below that. So in the events that we don't get a full-blown paranormal blue person walking by, we might actually just have something starting to manifest that we just missed out on. Yeah. We have had, in temperatures like this, things show up in the 20s. So that is definitely not a can on the ground. I mean, these things were floating, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we've caught plenty like that. So I would say that that's probably closer to like 8 to 15 pieces per year. But as far as the manifestations of being able to make out a person, probably 4 to 5. Okay. So just kind of, I always like to give stats because this is the real deal. Yeah. So I don't want to raise the expectation like something happens with this camera every night, because it doesn't. Okay. It's just super fun to use and super fun to study. Yeah. So you will get the full video back. It's already recording. So with this one, Abby, this one's going to you. That's your start and stop button. I'm pretty sure you know how to use a cell. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn over there. So kind of keep that in mind. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Now, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which one it is. In the event you hear the name Charles, I need a secondary clue on mine. Yeah. Getting my point? Yeah. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than both of you to stick together. So we're going to move on. If I don't give them that recognition, they will give me a nasty message through your spirit box. Okay. And it's not going to be radio chatter.
Oh, like disembodied?
Disembodied, for sure. Okay. So I try not to piss them off. Okay. So, with that said, let's move on to Eliza. Much better story anyway, and I'm sure both of you will appreciate it. Now, Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young girls got married. Think of today's standards, because the husband was over double her age. It was creepy then, creepy now. Yeah. Anyway, I've had to put my foot in my mouth with that one because I've had couples on my groups that were the exact But anyway, so she marries him because her father's over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. Instead, she stays put right here, gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year because we're not a country yet. There's no green cards, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that worked. But anyway, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. Dad instead starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing. And one of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. None of us are wearing it tonight. Yay! No examples. But anyway, when Eliza got her seeds from her father, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's obviously not warm here all the time. When she learned how to do it, she learned how to make the dye right here. And then she moved it to a cash crop down by the Stono River. Got a hold of Dad overseas, told him rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. Mm-hmm. Now, that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. Okay. Which, by the way, this is a place of respect because this is a true love story. Okay. This is not a, Eliza, and kind of creeping around. We're going to show some respect while we're here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a set of focus questions and then tell you what I'm hoping to come up with out of mine. Keep in mind, I do ask these questions out of my groups 5 to 7 nights a week, depending on the weather. So Eliza already knows who I brought with me because I already came through here and told her your names.
Okay.
I do that every night just out of a sign of respect because, again, some people haven't been so respectful and I get nasty messages. So my pact with her is I will come by every night, let her know how many people I'm bringing and what your names are. That's why I already knew them ahead of time.
Okay.
I do write them down. They're the first thing on my first page.
That's really
So it is just a sign of respect while we're here. I will also tell you as a heads up that 3 nights ago now, we actually had dangerously high EMF while we were here. So I'm going to be watching this guy really, really close.
Okay.
When I say dangerous, we had to leave. Like, it was that high.
Okay.
So I'll explain what those readings are once we start getting them. So that way you kind of have a perspective of things around your home with the same type of readings. So your focus questions are going to be on Eliza's death. You can say things out loud. You can just focus on them.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Okay.
But the 4 major questions that we get answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from,
Okay.
where she's buried,
Okay.
which president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Okay.
So those are the 4 majors. Now, with my device, I'm hoping, because the mansion's not here anymore, that we haven't heard about this in a while, so I'm going to be kind of focused on it. I'm going to ask what happened to it, basically.
Okay.
I know what happened to it. And then a lot of times, if we get the what happened to it, it's obviously some type of tragedy. I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Okay.
We'll often get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that tragedy occurred.
Okay.
Yeah, very specific numbers. Like, it's not like, January 1st of, 1702. Like, it's not 112 kind of thing. It's very specific numbers.
Okay.
So I'm going to be mainly watching this guy and then bring this guy out from time to time. Keep in mind, like, your questions, whatever you're focused on, can also go to my device. It can go to my voice recorder as an audible, Abby's camera as an audible. You getting my point? That's why I always use multiple communication devices to make sure everything's well-rounded and we can verify what's going on.
Okay.
So we're basically going to do like 1 to 2 laps around here. We're going to stay away from the 2 little vehicles that are here, which is super nice for us. So sometimes on a Tuesday, Wednesday, we don't have any cars in here.
Okay.
But yeah, you're just going to basically be shouting out whatever you hear so I can write them down.
Okay.
So keep filming. We're just going to kind of keep track and do 1 or 2 laps around here, and let's see what we can get. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Eliza, we're here. Let's do it. Try not to focus on this like right away so we're already getting numbers. 15.5, 20.1. I'll explain these before we leave the space.
Okay.
Eliza, you already know what questions we're going to ask, so feel free to start giving us answers. Alright. Eliza, 27.3. This thing started hitting triple digits, like steadily. We roll 8. Just so you know.
Okay.
Shout out whatever you hear.
Huh?
Shout out whatever you hear.
Okay. I did hear 1952.
Remember, you don't know all the answers.
Yeah. But a lot of it is like static, and then like it cuts in and out.
And you'll get better at this as the day goes on.
Okay.
She'll figure it out. And like this is our first investigative space because it is so active.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to capture anything here, you're going to suck at this and we're going to give your spirit box to somebody else.
Okay.
That's how I do it every night. I haven't checked the word list in a minute.
And then I just heard 4,000.
Okay. Anything weird on the cam?
Nothing that I'm noticing.
I'm going to do a quick lap. You guys can feel free to follow me or whatever you want to do. high reading along the way here, but I didn't get, like, it's really dropped down.
You said we're looking for what temperatures?
So we are, like, I'm sitting at 65 right now, so I would say probably about 50.
Oh, okay.
Just remember, glass is going to be around, like, probably 45 to 42 degrees, because we do have like a little bit of a breeze out here, so it's probably going to be cold.
Okay. It did go down. There was a 58 right over here a second ago, but.
It's gonna sound silly.
Because I'm like, I can't figure out. I did hear this. It's like the song I want to rock and roll all night.
Okay.
Relationship with Christ.
Okay. And we're a religious family, but that's pretty common in here. You are in the Holy City. When it's late at night.
Yeah.
Much of the day, it's 26.
Resurrection.
Why don't you go straight into what happened to the mansion? It's a nice simple answer to that.
I heard grieve that loss.
What was that?
Grieve that loss, but it was like a radio
Yeah.
voice.
It's gonna be radio.
Huh?
It's gonna be radio.
Yeah.
So just picture Eliza using the radio to talk to you.
Okay.
That's the same thing like the bumblebee analogy.
Okay.
Every time I gotta put the book away. 20 something. Eliza, we're asking about the mansion. Tell us what happened to it.
And then adoptions.org.
Okay. So in stuff like that, I look at the keyword of adoption. Obviously, .org is not going to be in a colonial woman's vocabulary.
Yeah.
This thing is just all over the place. And no other weird anomalies that you can see. 74.
Picture.
As soon as you said that, I had a 74, 71, 43.
Brother. 1055. Death in the family.
Now you're getting it. Wow, this thing is going nuts.
I just got a 57, which is the lowest I've seen so far. That
Okay.
wasn't something like metal.
Thanks for giving me the actual number. A lot of people don't do that. Just, I think I saw something cool.
I keep hitting like shadows or like metal things, and I think it's something, but
125.9.
And then the song Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift just started playing.
slay.
Is that the lyric you heard?
Yeah.
just gonna aimlessly walk circles to get every angle.
Yep.
But keep y'all in the frame.
Just so you guys know, like it's just like that.
I just heard there's 0.
Eliza, if you want us to leave, you gotta let us know. I'll give you another minute before I wrap this up.
What we experienced.
You gotta tell us about it.
I just got a 52.
Okay? It's gonna make me run out of paper tonight.
The song Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift is still playing, and it's still the same Cruel Summer part of the song.
Really?
That's only because Taylor Swift is not that great of a songwriter. And she uses the same damn lyric over and over and over
Yeah.
again. So we have it once, we really don't need to record it twice. Eliza, you've given us no direct answers, unless this is a puzzle I need to put together. I can kind of see where you're going, but we're going to wrap it up.
We've got 49 over here, but it is dark in that corner, so could be that.
Okay, I say we wrap this up, because we don't have any direct answers. All we have is a shit ton of numbers, so I'm going to have to maybe
Okay.
back here.
Can we go ahead and stop?
Yeah, go ahead and stop your video, give your hands a break. Philadelphia Alley. So again, we're gonna just be here to kind of stir shit up, and then we'll leave. It's a bad saying to have, but this guy, he's harmless. So this used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. This is the location that I was going to take out this year, but again, dude keeps giving me more information, so we're just going to continue on. Now, here's how the story goes, because every ghost story tells you the exact same story. There was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up over here, it's not uncommon. We get it all the time because it's part of his name.
Okay.
But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this money she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's cash, so he tells Amanda to get rid of him. So he comes down here to prove that he's not after her money. So on his way into town, the coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver. I hate to put that in the back of your brain since you're going to be taking an Uber later. You're going to be looking at your driver going, are you a serial killer? But anyway.
We already do.
I know, right? So anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the driver, and that guy's name was Ralph Isaacs, and I stop on his name because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from.
Yeah.
So Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. So we were getting the letters RI all the time from a regular spirit box, so I bought a new device. It basically acts like a digital Ouija board. It uses EMF, like my machine here, and anytime there's a spike, it gives us a letter. We've had the letters RI show up about half a dozen times in the past year whenever I brought up Ralph's name only. So now I know it's not directed to Rhode Island,
yeah.
but I needed to know. But anyway, I don't always bring out that device because it's not always productive. It doesn't always spell out things for us. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the driver. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. I got friends there, and you can rent a room. You'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. Amanda gets wind of this, and she's coming down so they could be married. And we have a group coming down in case you didn't see them. Yeah, you actually almost want to face it the opposite way.
Yeah.
Just like kind of, there you go, you're on it. So Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor because his fiancée is moving down, and he's a happy, jovial guy. That's actually what men did back then when they were happy, jovial guys. They whistled. And part of the reason why I didn't want to continue doing this story is because that's a big cliche. Every haunted city has a cliched whistling ghost. You've probably heard a whistling ghost story in another city. I'm sure you guys do a lot of ghost stories. But anyway, we'll talk about those whistles in just a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So, on the way home from seeing Richard III one night, they're arguing over the new actress, and Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great, and Ralph did not. So the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. So we're going to let these folks pass.
He walked through there hundreds of times.
Hi, folks.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? You know, this argument gets really hairy, and they go their separate ways. But Ralph has friends around town, so he goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. You could do that back then, apparently. You can just buy an ad. So it was kind of a "you're a disgrace to society" kind of bullshit. Doc saw this, but rebutted with, "Let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die." So it all started over an actress, by the way. So the two of them came down, back to back, took 10 paces, they turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happened at a duel. If you've seen Hamilton, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc doesn't die, he just fell to the ground. Hurt, pain. Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed, not willing to forgive. Doc's friends pick him up, take him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. Now, I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning, tried to bleed it out himself. He just failed, because obviously he died. Now, everybody goes toward Toju, listen for the whistles. Aside from the very noisy air conditioning unit that's over there, it's always this damn quiet. Always. It could be a busy Saturday afternoon and East Bay Street is hustling and bustling. This is what it sounds like. Super weird. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and try to capture a whistle by walking all the way through, I can't take you all the way through because I've been kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Okay. Yes, that was a joke and it's a real thing. Use your voice recorders, but remember that every local knows the damn story.
Yeah.
Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. Okay. I do it all the time. Now, last night I actually forgot to check the voice recorder because we actually thought we heard a whistle. And it's not going to be a jovial little whatever. It's just going to be a straight, almost like just a steady note. So just kind of keep that in mind. If we're going to capture a whistle with our equipment, it will obviously be with our equipment, not always with our own ears. So let's talk about how I got thrown out of here, because that actually explains why we go to the place that we're going to next. Okay. The alley didn't always go all the way through that way. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So cows, chickens, and goats are all, running around down here. What does that mean for you? That means that it started down there, and those bricks are older than the ones we're standing on. Okay. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. Nothing paranormal about it. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid is not there. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire team of 10 people is huddled around one brick waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. And secondly, I'm trying to be respectful to the mansion at the end of the alley. We're right outside his dining room window.
Oh, there's a house all the way down there? Okay.
Now, that new owner of that mansion came out. He was screaming. I didn't realize that I was out of bounds for tours. So, yeah, I was still new at this. Okay. So he came out screaming. My daughter, 12, 13, 14 years old at the time, thought it was hysterical because her dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. Okay. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I worked for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management. You guys like to fight over towels. I'm scarred for life. I don't do Thanksgiving ever again. Now, the next day was the 28th. So I called my partner that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened. And he laughed at me just like my daughter did. It's like he's cracking up. He's like, you're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point for tours because it's residential. Okay. So we're literally right on the edge of where I'm allowed to take you, believe it or not. Yeah. And I do that all night long, by the way. Like, I ride the edges of where we're allowed to be. But anyway, so the next night, I had to reroute the group, but I had to come up with something quick because the rest of my route is that way. I had to come up with a new route this way. Okay. So I don't know all the history this way. The next story, I told them, I don't believe in it because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next because you're in Charleston and we have to hear about pirates. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. Okay. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We go up and around the corner. I told them what I did know about piracy at the time, which wasn't much because a few hours to investigate doesn't do anything for me. But somebody else heard the number 300 on a different spirit box. I didn't know what it meant, so I wrote it down. I'm doing their research for them. We were there on November 28th of 2020, and Bonnie's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys say, wow, I was pissed. Let me explain. Master's degree, creative writing. English degree, journalism degree. No matter what I'm writing, no matter what I'm working on, especially this, facts and data are the name of the game for me. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. That's written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, of when we remember such pirates like Blackbeard, right? So that's a problem, because that means I have to read more damn books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life to verify all the shit that we're finding. I've read more books, watched more documentaries, and played more video games about pirates than I ever wanted to. It's not my bag. It is now. But again, it's all about those facts and data to get different versions of the story. Everything we're about to discuss about Anne Bonny came from a minimum of 2 resources. That was kind of my criteria. I wanted at least something that came from 2 different resources, whether it be a documentary, a book, or so forth and so on. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind. It is a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll be there at the same time we are. I'll explain why we're there, but you already get the gist of why we're here for Dr. Ladd, because this is where his duel occurred, raised emotion. The gate before he leaves, just because you guys are so attentive, I'm going to keep your attention for just 1 more minute before we leave the space. Okay. Remember I told you the alley didn't go all the way through.
Yeah.
There's a wall. So when there's a loser down here from the duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of that wall.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So there's a cemetery right.
literally on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
So if there is a loser and this didn't exist, they have to walk all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to be able to get to the cemetery with a dead body. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And it delays them going to celebrate the winner.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to go celebrate the winner no matter who it is. The wrought iron was probably put there in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original.
We're sharing.
Yeah, I brought mine, and we were like,
forgot
we'll just
mine.
use the same one.
Gotcha. Sorry, I actually have a mod. Like, you have a disposable there, I take it?
Yeah.
And I should get y'all in it.
I normally smoke a tobacco pipe before every tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I have a set of pipes that I just rotate them out.
That's cool.
Sorry, I'm a heavy smoker. Always have been.
No judgment here.
And now's your
I
time
heard
to shine.
300.
Okay.
I'm getting brutal.
My lifestyle.
I like how you correlated both of those together. That works. What's funny is she's probably forgotten most of the things about Dr. Ladd already, and every once in a while, that's when
It's
they
gonna
start to slip
pop up.
through. That's what I love about doing this the way that I do it.
This
Not
is,
touching
yeah,
everything.
this is really cool.
$24. People with Christ.
We get a lot of religious terms because of the church. I stopped counting them after so.
Getting
Mission.
Wyatt.
And if you're here, it's your time to shine, sweetheart. Let's do this. Give us whatever you want us to know.
Face to face.
Jenna.
I would be more interested in back to back. For the duels.
And then right now. And then participating in.
And give us some details if you're here. Let's go straight into your father's name. This should be an easy grab. Just give us dad's name. Kind of verify that you're here. camera likes to act up in here. It's been a while since it's done it, but it will like put staticky lines going down, like horizontal lines, and then whoever you're filming, their device will stop. We've seen that happen a couple of times. It's been like over a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point, but it has happened.
What'd you say?
I was talking.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Any other words showing up for you?
No, I still just have Jenna. It's the last one.
And again, it'll stay on there, just depending on how it's picking things up.
Oh, now I'm getting Owen. Lots of names. Wyatt, Jenna, and I had Wyatt too.
And we're not going to stay here if you're not going to give us anything.
I just heard black.
Okay. That's pretty common here.
I'm getting 57 degrees right between y'all. That's the lowest I've seen so far. That's 56, 55. It's dropping.
Okay. And there's not a big breeze coming through here either.
It's just like right around y'all.
And you want to tell us about Blackbeard? Why was he here?
Leslie.
Okay. Give us more detail. I don't know who Leslie is.
Triumph.
Triumph over what? What was he doing here? He had a reason. Or was it?
53. 51.
We're on track. My thermometer says it's 64. Just tell me where I need to put this.
It's basically kind of going in between y'all. Almost like a figure eight, it seems like, from what I can tell.
This has a thermometer on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just got a 52, then went back to 54. Technology. I just got on my word.
It only dropped like 1.5 degrees. It's nothing drastic, and now it's going back up. So whatever you're picking up is going to be off of the wall. It might be some of the foliage you're picking up.
Oh, yeah.
That foliage is going to be cooler. Because I'm not seeing anything major out of this. Any other words coming through for you?
What?
Any other major words coming through?
Not any other like just a lot of cuts, and then like stuff about the Bible and like Testament.
That's the church stuff.
Yeah.
What was the last word you got?
Gap. It just popped up. In technology.
Yeah.
I've still got 54 going behind her and in front of her. 53, 52.
Stay where you're at. I want to take a look, make sure it's not picking up on her zippers or anything like that. Let's see this. It's actually literally behind her.
Mm-hmm. And there's something over there. It was popping up over there too.
So let's just do a quick test, and I want you to like literally lower it and point it straight at the ground in front of you.
and see if it stays at that temperature. So I'm 58 here, and then go walk right behind her and see where that ground is measuring.
57, so.
So it's definitely not the ground.
Mm-mm.
It's picking up something in this general area then.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Yeah, this isn't like dropping massively. Same thing, 63.7. Is it a 63.5 over there? So nothing. There's a 6. Whatever it is, it's not picking it up on my end. She's not hearing anything. You're still stuck on gap and technology, right?
Plane.
Plane. Yeah. And we're gonna give up. Tell us good night.
Approach.